So one of the things that I liked when I was reporting, and one of the things that I like about being a copy editor was being able to play with language and be able to write things that were kind of fun. And so I want to just read a few of the. I at some point when I was applying for jobs, you send out, um, you'll send out what are called clips, and clips are just where you take an article you wrote, you cut it out, or nowadays you just send a link, a hyperlink to the article, and then people can click it and read your writing. But used to be you would, actually physically copy it. You'd make you'd cut it out physically, paste on a piece of paper, and then you'd make a photocopy of it and mail it. And one of the things I included were some of my leads, because I just thought, I can send them articles, I can read the whole thing. But I used to have fun writing leads. I used to think, if you can write a really good lead, it was one of the things I really kind of enjoyed was really, sometimes I would write the whole story and then I would go back and write the lead. I'd rewrite the lead. I'd rewrite the lead. Because to me, the lead is so important in getting the attention. So I thought for fun, I would just kind of give you a few of my leads that I used to send out because I liked them. I thought they were, just kind of fun leads. And they aren't all, straight news leads. Most of them aren't. I'll read through them and we'll give it that. So while Tri-County residents may be feeling like they need to build an ark, so this is in Peoria. Tri-County is, the three counties, Woodford, Tazewell, and Peoria counties. While Tri-County residents may be feeling like they need to build an ark, that feeling may be more a matter of perception than precipitation. And so perception than precipitation, I just like that. It was a great wordplay. Basically, it was a story about the fact that it seemed like it had been raining constantly. It felt like, just everything was soaked. And so they said, go do a weather story, Tim. And it's usually one of these things as a reporter, you're like, oh, great, I got to do a weather story, right? I mean, because it's usually like, it's going to snow Tuesday, or it's really been raining a lot, and it's like, it's not that exciting, right? I mean, it's Illinois. It rains. And so, it's Illinois. It's winter. It's cold. Like, I mean, these aren't phenomenal things that are out of the usual. After you've been alive and you've lived through a couple trips around the sun, you realize these things happen, right? And so what happens is I talked though to the National Weather Service, and they were like, well, no, I mean, it's been raining a little bit more than usual, but on average we're right on there, and some years it rains a little more and some years it rains a little less, and the way you build averages is, that's the way it is in Illinois. And so I thought, that's kind of interesting. It's more of our perception of it than it is the actual rain. And so perception and precipitation, thought it was a fun wordplay. There was a story about a Kroger that one of the managers decided that they wouldn't give away their day-old bread to the local food bank. And so I called around and I ended up calling corporate. And as soon as a reporter started calling, the corporate PR people go, hey, we need to do something about this. We need to get that bread going back to these, like this is a bad public relations move. And so they were basically like, no, that was a mistake. We're not doing that. And they tried to play it off. And so they blamed it on a regional manager, and then kind of were like, but that was never a corporate policy. I don't know if it was or not, but it at least was one of these things that at a corporate level they did. And I think it's an important thing that one of the things that people like doing when they are reporters is they like to know that what they're doing is actually having an effect. It's actually benefiting society. And in this regard, this very clearly helped people, because there was people who were not going to get food or not going to get bread at food banks, and it was going to be an issue, and there wouldn't be enough food, and they'd have to go buy it, and they'd have to get more donations, and they might not have enough food for the food bank, when instead Kroger was just going to throw away this bread that they didn't use, right? And so what happens is that, we were doing this story about it, or I called up, and quickly they changed their mind. And that's kind of one of the things that I liked about being a reporter. It's one of the things I like about doing journalism is if you go out and you call people and you do a story, oftentimes people will go, wow, that's important, and they will do something. They'll come together and raise money. Corporate office will go, hey, we don't want bad publicity. We'll fix that. People will go, that is an issue. We need to change the law. And so one of the things that's great about being a reporter is you can make your society, you can make your public, you can make the world a better place by doing your job. Anyway, so as far as it goes, area missions will get their daily bread today after almost a week without it. And so that was just kind of playing upon the language of, give us this day our daily bread. Area missions will get their daily bread today. After almost a week without it because of that call. And so that's where that story came from. This one is kind of just a straight news lead. The union that represents about 200 city workers voted to reject the city's final contract offer and instead voted to strike Friday. Fairly straightforward, tells you what's important. 200 city workers are going on strike. They've rejected it. It's got a lot of information. It's all active voice. It's all very well put together. The only reason I think I like that one probably is because I actually went out to cover that story, and ends up they voted to reject the offer, and 200 city workers were going to all go on strike and the next day or whatever, or a couple days from then. And so this was kind of a big deal. And so I had gone down there. Meeting got out at like 9 o'clock, 9:30, and I got my information, got my quotes, got information from the union officials who wouldn't actually tell me anything. He would just tell me if I was wrong. So it was kind of a fun experiment where like I wouldn't say it was an experiment, it was kind of an interesting thing where I talked to members and they told me what had happened in a closed door meeting that was closed to the press. And then I went into the union official and I said, "Can you tell me what happened?" He said, I can't tell you. I said, "Well, I talked to members and here's what they told me." And he said, "I'll tell you what. You tell me what they told you, and if you have it wrong, I'll tell you. But if you have it right, I just say I don't see any problem with it, and you can go with it." So you can basically use him on background, and I'll talk about terms like background later. But I can basically say, union members said, and union officials did not object or did not, union officials confirm this, something like that. I forget what language I used. And so I go down there, and I had to do that. And I called up to my office, and I said, "I'm still waiting on the union official to give me a quote." And they said, "Okay, if you can get this, the copy desk has 3 editions. They have one edition that goes out to all the rural areas, even 50, 60 miles away. And that goes to press at 10 or 10:30 p.m. The deadline is then. I think the deadline was 10 p.m. in order to get it ready and get it on there." And they said, but they don't want to put a story on the front page, and then when they do the city edition, the local edition, have to switch it. They want it to be the same. The copy desk doesn't want to fix that. They want it, whatever they put on the front page, they want it to stay on the front page. So they said, if you want this story on the front page of the paper, you need to get back and have the story filed by 10 p.m. Well, it's 9 p.m., 9:15 p.m., and I'm 10-minute drive from the office, and I still haven't gotten a quote or confirmation from the union head. And so basically, being a reporter and having an ego and everything else, you want your work on the front page. You want it there where people are going to see it. You want people to know your story. You want people to read your work. You want what you do to be seen. And so I waited around, talked to the union guy, was polite, cordial, got the information, had to kind of play this little game with him. I ran to my car like 9:20, drove like 85 all the way back to the office, ran into the office. I got 20 minutes to write a story. I got all my notes there. So I just sit down, I just write the story just as quick as I can, not even looking at my notes. Then I fill it back in real quick and I file it about 5 minutes before, maybe even a few minutes. I write the whole thing in like 15 or 20 minutes, very quick. It's not a horribly long story, but that's very quick, especially something, and ended up being a pretty solid story. Got on the front page. I was very happy. And that's the lead. The union that represents about 200 city workers voted to reject the city's final contract offer and instead voted to strike Friday. Gets to the heart of it. Gets to why you care. Gets to why it should be on the front page. And I think I don't know that that's a great lead. It's pretty much just a basic news lead. But I think it's just because of the memory of that I like that lead. And I put it on my list of leads I like.